This September, join St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in honoring Sickle Cell Awareness Month. With one of the largest sickle cell programs in the country, St. Jude is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats life-threatening diseases like sickle cell disease.
Together, we can bring hope and healing to children around the world. Visit stjude.org/The Amazing Clarks and become a partner in hope. Again, visit stjude.org/The Amazing Clarks and help St. Jude save even more kids.
Dear listeners, I'm Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are
The Amazing Clarks.
We're both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together as a team for 24 years and that have been passionately in love for 32. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
And we're here to help you get from where you are in life and love. Love the Amazing Clarks is our personal love letter to everyone that loves love as much as we do.
That's right. So let's get to it. So today we have another amazing episode for you guys. Today's main topic is picking and choosing your battles in relationship.
Ooh.
Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something you know how to do or something you need to do? Well, we're going to talk about all of that and more. But before we jump to the main topic, it's time for the listener letters. Now, in this segment, this is where you guys get to send in your questions about love, dating, relationships, life in general, and we'll answer it live on air. All you got to do is leave your questions in the listener's notes in the description. So, babe, what's the listener's question?
Oh, I have a good one. You are going to love this one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So the listener letter says, not sure if I, 30-year-old female, should end it with my boyfriend, who's a 31-year-old male, over his lack of interest in sex, despite using porn when I'm home. And this comes from Denise in New Orleans.
Interesting.
So what do you think about that?
You know, of course, if I had a little more details, she was here, I would ask more questions. Like, for example, when you guys had the conversation? When you have had the conversation, what happened? Was he receptive? Right. Where did it go? But now let's assume that you guys didn't. And that's just where you are right now.
Right.
You know, typically when that happens, for one, I would say don't end the relationship. You gotta dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Because you can end it. Let's say you end it now. You'll walk away and you'll always wonder, like, what if I would have asked, and what if we could have worked it out? And that's like a ghost that will haunt you for the rest of your life. You don't want that. So you want to put in the time to do as much research, ask as many questions as you can, give it everything that you have, and if it doesn't work out from there, then you can move on.
Yeah.
So typically when that happens, when men tend to turn to porn as opposed to like sex with their partner, in many cases, one of the reasons they'll do that is because they want something different than what you're offering sexually.
Oh.
And let's say maybe they want something a little kinkier.
Oh.
And they're afraid to bring it to your attention because they don't want to be judged. So it's easier to just go and watch porn. And even though that sounds better in the short run for them, in the long run, it's going to work against the relationship. So yeah, you definitely don't want that to be the go-to option. Another thing that it might be is that, yes, is there a possibility that he's not attracted to you sexually and then he's going there with the porn instead, trying to replace it? Yes, that's a possibility. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but yes, it's a possibility. And if that's the case, after conversations and guys digging a little deeper, if at that point it still goes nowhere and he still feels like I'd rather go to the porn and sex is important to you, and it's like it is with most relationships because it helps to connect and bond couples, then I would recommend moving on and doing your own thing. Because the bottom line is everybody deserves to have what they need to make them happy. And if the porn makes them happier, let them have it. And if an intimate relationship makes you happier, then go get it somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, that was a great answer.
Thank you, baby. So what saith you?
You know, I agree with pretty much everything you said, but one thing I would add, well, two things I would add.
Everything I said?
Yeah, everything you said.
I like that.
You're good. You know, we agree a lot. I would add two things. Number one, I would face it head on. I would just ask. These are the opportunities for connection and growth in relationship when you're having challenges. And to be able to ask what is the problem, but be able to listen and hear what he has to say and not become defensive. A lot of times men don't want to share with us how they feel because we take it personally and we become emotional. So they just try to avoid that. The other thing that I wanted to add, and I've seen this in coaching over the years, we've had many men come to coaching who were shut down sexually, and 9 out of 10 times it was because they felt like their wife was being dominating towards them. Like, I'm just going to keep it real, taking their balls, being controlling, and they did not feel sexy or masculine with their woman because she was taking over energetically. So that's why I say, go to him and ask him, am I doing something that is turning you off sexually or preventing us from connecting? And say, I really want to know, and I'm really open to hearing, and then listen to what he has to say, and then discuss ideas of how you can make a change.
I like that.
So
Good job, baby.
That's my answer to that.
Yeah, and you know, I also say when you ask these questions, maybe that might be something where you can, you know, share that together. Maybe when you guys can find porn that you can watch together, find out what maybe he's into, and maybe it might work for you. And there's also the possibility that he might be into something that's just so off the hook that you might be like, yo, I'm out of here. And that, you know, that can happen too. But like I said, dig a little deeper, ask more questions, and make your decision after that.
Yeah. Great answers.
Great
I love those letters. They're good. We get in people's business. I like it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So what's our topic today?
Time for the segue. The segue is picking and choosing your battles in your relationship.
Okay.
What does that mean? Is it a good thing? Is it something that you should be doing? So I'll start.
Okay.
So the reason I wanted to use this subject is because this is a skill that I found that a lot of couples lack.
Right.
They lack it. And in situations in relationships, there are always going to be things that might irritate you about your partner that you might not like. And, you know, you want to let them know about it and share it. And that's important. Communication is important. But yes, there comes a point where you can overdo it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, everything that you don't like is, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. And it turns into, you know, a fight.
Yeah.
And it's nonstop. But then some people feel like, you know what, I need to speak up. I'm not going to suppress myself. I need to tell my partner how I feel. And that's very true.
Right.
But I found in our relationship, and I learned this the hard way, because when we first were dating, I was really into, like, I shoot from the hip. That was my mantra. That was what I was part of my brand. I'm going to tell everybody what I think. I'm going to shoot from the hip. I'm never going to hold back. So I'm constantly shooting. And there's a lot of bodies laying around. And I turn around like, why are these bodies all over the place?
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm proud of myself because it worked for me.
Right.
Hear that word, me?
Yeah, for you.
But it did not work for everybody else. And in relationships, I started off like that.
And I remember you did. Yes, this is very true.
And I also think I did it because I worked in the prison system. I was a state correctional officer. So everything you just got to keep putting it out there.
Right.
And we would get into it a lot after a while.
Yeah.
And one day, you know, you brought it to my attention. And you were like, you know what, babe? You need to really learn how to pick and choose your battles. And I was like, what? Let me tell you about you.
How dare you? How dare you tell me
where's my gun? Let me shoot.
How to fight. Yes.
No, but I didn't complain. And it was like, you know what? I need to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that. And so I started paying attention and picking and choosing when I brought up things that bothered me, or I wanted to share something with you that I would request that I had.
Right.
To do things differently, for you to maybe adjust some things. And I learned in the long run that if I don't do it all the time, and I'm very picky about when I do it, when I eventually do it, it has more impact.
Right.
And as opposed to just coming off as always like, hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. I like that. And that comes off as nagging.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like people nagging me, and I don't want to be considered nagging other people.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that we could, definitely have that honest conversation. And I do think it's important. And we've said this before. The mind is actually very negative because it's constantly looking for threats. And if you are not conscious, your relationship will be a constant barrage of complaints and trying to fix things. Like I hear this from couples all the time. Like we need to fix this and we need to fix that. We need to, and it's like, just be in the moment, enjoy what you have, start looking at the things that you love about each other, and you won't have so many battles. And the other thing that is really helpful when it comes to picking and choosing your battles is asking yourself why the thing that's bothering you is bothering you. And for the most part, it literally is going to come from you. It's not even the other person. You are trying to get something and you're perceiving them as preventing you from being able to get what you want. So we just had this the other day, right? So I had to get up early. You wanted to stay up late. You had the TV on. It was irritating the crap out of me. But the first night it happened, I didn't say anything because I was like, it's just, he's doing his thing. This is not every night. But then when the second night it happened, then the next day I came to you and I said, hey, this is bothering me. I need to get sleep. I'm working really hard right now. I'm learning a lot right now, and I really need to be rested. And so that was me picking and choosing my battles. The first night I was like, I don't want to start an argument. I don't want to have any issues. But then it got to me because I asked myself, what is it that I need? I'm not actually really upset with Anthony staying up late at night, watching TV, doing whatever he's doing. I just need something. I need more sleep. So it's important that when you find yourself battling with your partner a lot, instead of going directly to them with your issue, ask yourself, what is it that I need? What is it that I want? And I find that when couples are arguing or when people are arguing, they just want to bring up the point of what's wrong with no solutions. I'm really big on, if I'm going to bring a point to you or there's going to be some type of battle, I'm going to talk about solutions. And I think that that's a really important part of fighting well. And we're going to fight in relationship. It's going to happen. It's normal.
I think that in every relationship that, for one, if you don't master the art of picking and choosing your battles.
I thought you were going to say, if you don't masturbate. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I thought you were going to say.
Come on. Where's my pearls?
Sorry.
Question.
Okay, we're back.
So, if you don't pick and choose your battles wisely, the relationship will suffer and you will eventually grow apart.
Yes.
And I don't think most people bring it to the, couple's attention, like, chill, relax with that. Because even with us, both ways, you had to learn to pick and choose your battles with me the same way.
Absolutely.
But that's part of growing and learning your partner. And for me, the big difference was when we were dating, I was not as spiritually connected and conscious as I am now, even though I was back then. And I learned that, first of all, if something bothers me, it's usually my perspective on it that's bothering me. I have a story or perspective that's out of alignment. And in my life, my goal is to get in alignment as much as possible. But who could take responsibility for my alignment? Me. Who's responsible for my alignment? Me. Who can get me in alignment or out of alignment? Me.
Yep.
And so when you do something that would give me the invitation to feel out of alignment, instead of just going, hey, why are you doing so, babe? Don't do that. Or it's like, let me try to solve it first on my own. Let me change my perspective on it. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's the way I would try to change it first and foremost. And that helped me to grow immensely as an individual, consciously. And it made me more mellow.
Yeah.
And I wasn't controlled by the external things going around me as much. So I became more chilled, more laid back, easygoing. And I developed a reputation for being a laid back guy that doesn't trip on much at all.
Yeah.
So that whenever I now and then do bring something up, people take me more seriously. Like, whoa, Anthony usually doesn't complain about anything. Anthony's so EIP, so easygoing, that if he's bringing this to my attention, this is something that maybe I really need to look at. As opposed to just crying wolf all the time, and eventually people become desensitized to your complaints or your request or constructive criticism.
Right. This September, join St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in honoring Sickle Cell Awareness Month. With one of the largest sickle cell programs in the country, the doctors and researchers at St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from this deadly disease.
But we can't do it without you. Bring hope and healing to St. Jude families right now. Visit stjude.org/give The Amazing Clarks and become a partner in hope. Again, visit stjude.org/The Amazing Clarks and help St. Jude save even more kids.
No, I agree. And I think it goes back to being conscious, right? So we are huge believers in law of attraction. And when you understand law of attraction, it's basically what you put out is what you're going to get back. And so that's why we always go back to ourselves as the source, because if we can change our energy, it's going to change how we react to each other and how we interact with each other. And so battling all the time and always having complaints is really about negative thinking.
Right.
And you're just negatively focused. So definitely okay to go to your partner and say, hey, I have a need and I'd like something to be different. But if you're doing that all the time, what will happen is your partner will start to think, you don't like me.
Yeah.
You don't like me. I'm not a good fit for you. You don't want to be with me. You don't love me. I'm not good enough. And they're going to want to avoid connecting with you.
Definitely.
They're going to want to avoid conversations. Then it'll start to be less physical. I'm saying this from experience. That is exactly what happened in my first marriage. I felt so criticized by my first husband. I literally felt like I could do nothing right.
Right. I felt like that too in my first marriage.
And so when you feel like in a relationship that you can't do anything right and that you're not being appreciated at all, you're just being complained at, eventually you're going to give up.
Yeah.
That's human nature. When you try everything you can to please someone that you're in relationship with and it doesn't work, eventually you will give up, or and this is something people don't like to hear, you will find someone who does appreciate you.
Yeah.
And you are susceptible to appreciation from other people a lot more than if you were receiving it and giving it in your own relationship. So, you guys, it really, really is important to choose your battles and not just be complaining and always trying to fix. And I think we're in a culture right now where, everyone's focused on mental health and being their best self and living your best life and best, that we're always trying to find a problem to fix. And we don't need to do that. We should actually be focusing on all the good that's already happening in our lives.
I also, in our relationship, I really value my growth. If I'm doing something that's, let's say, that's hurting you, or something that, is causing resistance or conflict in a relationship, I want to know.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to be the best me possible.
Yes.
And I want to be the light. I want to be the love everywhere I go as much as possible.
You are the love and the light, Anthony.
Thank you, gorgeous.
You're welcome.
And you're the sunshine.
Blinded you. I'll take it.
And so, because of that, I want you to bring it to my attention.
Yeah.
And if you were to constantly just going, you're not doing it, then it's going to be harder to hear it when you bring it to my attention.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it when I know you see me do some stuff sometimes and you want to say something and I catch you where you catch yourself never mind. Because I do that too in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate it when you do that because it helps me to grow.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you were to do it constantly, if you didn't pick and choose your battles, then I wouldn't hear you and I would just feel like I'm being attacked. And the other bad thing about not constantly or not choosing your battles is that eventually, if you just, every time your partner's, you nitpick every little thing you see and you bring it to their attention, that's going to set your thermostat there.
Oh.
We've talked about this in the past in our other episodes. Your thermostat, it holds your beliefs in place. So whatever you believe, whatever story you're telling about your partner, you're going to attract that.
Yes.
It's like the law of attraction in a lot of ways. And so you can get addicted to pointing out your partner's faults.
Yeah.
And telling your partner about themselves.
Yeah.
And even when you don't realize you're doing it, you'll do it. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be picked apart all the time.
Yeah.
And so be aware of that. You want to share and communicate, but you don't want to do it constantly.
Well,
and last thing I want to add on.
No, go ahead. Do you. Go ahead.
I found that I much prefer to point out, like you said, the things you're doing right, the things I love and appreciate.
Yeah.
Because after a while, if you focus on those things that much, the things you love and appreciate, you really get to the point where you don't mind or you don't see those things that would take you out of alignment in the past.
They
become
don't
little.
irritate you as much.
Yeah, because like I always say, it's a small thing to a giant.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's very true. You know, the other thing about picking and choosing your battles and not always picking, you literally have to create a perspective in your mind that helps you to not do that, because it becomes a habit and you're on autopilot. And when people are on autopilot, they don't even realize that they're doing it. So I want to give you guys a exercise. I'm going to give you 2 things that you can do to start changing your mind from being negatively focused in your relationships, especially if you're married or you're in a long-term relationship. Number 1 is you and your partner are going to be together for an amount of time that you have no idea. And what I'm saying is, one of you at some point is going to transition. So, what I do when it comes to nitpicking, I always think that. I think about that a lot. And I think I only have so much time in this life with my husband, and I love him. And is this really something that I need to be arguing about? If I lost him tomorrow, would this matter to me? It probably wouldn't. So, let it go.
Yeah.
That's one way that I do it. And then the second one is a life coaching exercise that we do that we call our old lady, old man exercise. And it kind of goes along with what I just said. When something is really bothering you, ask yourself, if I was 99 years old and I had an hour left to live, would this matter to me? And 9 out of 10 times, the stuff that we are fixated on and fussing about will not matter at the end of our lives. And we spend so much of our life just being upset and irritated over nothing.
True.
So, my advice to all of you is really start to filter your complaints through the joy of your life, the joy of your love. That's really what life is about.
I like that. Good
Yes.
job. You know, one of the things that I would recommend to do is, first of all, if you want to change this, you have to make that commitment to yourself.
Yes.
You know, set that intention. I want to change this. So you tell your spirit, bring this to my attention. If I'm doing this, please let me start seeing it. Once you want to see it, because if you don't want to see it, you're not going to see it. If you keep fighting against it, you're not going to see it.
Yep.
You have to want to see it. And so once you get to that point, then when it happens, you'll start to notice it. And the key is to be quiet. Don't say it. Don't blurt it out. Just acknowledge, like, whoa, I wanted to say that right now, but I didn't say it. Why did I want to say it? And just be quiet. I go back to, I used to say, drink a tall glass and shut the hell up. And just be quiet and be with it. And then try to change your perspective on it. Is it something that you maybe need to hear? Is your partner doing it to be mean to you? Or maybe it's just something that they need. Are you hearing your partner? Are you fighting? Are you being resistant? And pay attention.
Yes.
And if you'll notice that if you're doing it, it's going to you're going to keep catching it over and over and over. And once you start catching it, then you can start changing it.
Yes.
But you have to want to do it first.
Yes. I love this topic.
Yeah.
I really hope our listeners learn today how to love better, how to fuss less, how to have less, arguments. That's really what we're about. So I really want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We love and appreciate you guys so, so much.
Yes, we do. It was another great, amazing episode. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And so I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yes. This is fun. I love hanging out with you. So you guys be sure to connect with us. Head on over to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. And if you haven't got a copy of our book yet, Crack the Code, Secrets to Achieving Your Happily Ever After, make sure you pick up a copy today, available at Amazon.com. And if you guys are interested in coaching with the Amazing Clarks, we can coach by Zoom, by phone, or even in person if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. If so, then go to theamazingclarks.com, reach out to us, and we'll get right back at you. And last but not least, if you're interested in becoming a life coach or just learning some skills to life coach yourself or the people around you, check out our life coach training and certification course at lawofattractionlifecoachacademy.com.
And remember, to go there, you got to grow there.
That's right. So there you go, people. We gave it to you. Now what you going to do with it?
Love the Amazing Clarks.